From snowy Morgantown, West Virginia, CBS Sports presents the Big 12 as the 6th-ranked West Virginia Mountaineers play host to the Texas Longhorns. The #1 college basketball conference in America, the Big 12, Kansas with 13 consecutive conference titles on top. West Virginia is just a game back, and Texas looking for a signature win on the road after having beat #8 Texas Tech Wednesday. All this serves as our backdrop today. Hi, everyone. With Jimmy Spinarco, Kevin Harlan. This is a terrific Big 12 from top to bottom, as good as there is.
Kevin, there aren't any easy games in this conference. It is fabulous, and Texas is coming off a good win against Texas Tech the last time out. West Virginia, on the other hand, has lost 2 in a row, so they have to really get things going at the offensive end of the floor.
Jimmy, no surprise, defense rules the way for the Mountaineers.
Well, that's their trademark. That's what makes West Virginia so difficult to play against, and especially here, you look at how many shots they blocked. 4th in the conference. They shut you down to 66 points. Check the last one, though, the steals. They're first in the conference with 174 of those. And how did they make that happen? Well, let's take a look at the AT&T Fast Analysis. We're going to go quickly, Kev, in terms of the defense, because that's the way they do it. Now, watch the way they are relentless. They'll look to try to trap, and watch where the trap comes from. They trigger it on their own, so they have balance. And when you think you get it over the court, okay, now it's time to react and play offense. But Carter here, the best guy in steals, will trigger them defensively, and they go up and down. They're looking to get their points off of turnovers.
Now for the Texas Longhorns, they've won 2 of 3, a top 5 recruiting class, and in that class is one of college basketball's best rim protectors.
Mo Bamba, he is absolutely a lot of fun to just watch at both ends of the floor. Defensively, he gets 4.5 blocks per game, but his timing is so great. He'll step away and hit a 15-footer on occasion, but watch for him underneath the basket. They look to lob to him. He looks to finish. His length is fabulous. His understanding of what he's trying to accomplish right there with it.
With a look at head coach Shaka Smart, who's looking for his first Big 12 road win over a conference-ranked team in almost 2 years. And in the middle, they got Mo Bamba, who is the only Big 12 player averaging a double-double. You can also see Matt Coleman there, top left. He is the future of the program, a top 30 guard, and starts. And today he's going to get a handful with the reigning Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year in Javon Carter. He is a load. And there is Bob Huggins, his 11th season at West Virginia, 7th all-time winningest coach in college basketball history. We have 3 terrific, heavily decorated officials today. Bert Smith, who has been to 14 NCAA tournaments. Michael Stevens, 10 NCAAs, 2 Final Fours, 3 national championship games. And Roger Ayers, one of the best in the business. Roger Ayers, 22 years as a Division I official, 15 tournaments, and 2 Final Fours, and away we go.
And just a fabulous atmosphere to try to trigger the offense and the overall production for West Virginia on their home floor.
And here comes Carter working on top. West Virginia is 4-2 in conference play, 9-1 at home overall. Carter again.
So how long do you think, Kevin, it'll take for them to put the press on?
About a second, right?
Yep. Here it is right now. They are relentless. And watch them when they get across half court. They do not let up if they're playing their game.
And here comes Bamba inside. And Kanate was there to defend and knock it away.
We have 2 of the best shot blockers in the country. Now you watch Bamba, he's going to try to challenge, and he comes across, and Kanate, who put a shot blocking clinic on the last game in the first 7 minutes against Kansas, steps up again.
So the Longhorns on the road in the conference, 1-2. Osetkowski takes it in, defended by Wes Harris. And they get it to go. I think the feeling might be that if Texas can give it into the big guys, that can control the tempo just a bit.
Yeah, when you look at their front line, 2 6'9" guys, they're pretty active. Osetkowski, very good, a guy who will score for them, and obviously Bamba defensively is terrific. And watch him float to help people out.
Well, after 15 consecutive wins, West Virginia has lost 2 in a row. Bamba knocks it away, and it's picked up. And the other way now comes Coleman, who will take it in and float. And here comes Roach, who fires on the fly. And Kerwin Roach, who broke his left hand not too long ago, is back out there playing. Played for the first time this past week after missing a couple games. Carter will pick up the foul, and Kerwin Roach, who is a junior from Houston, will be up there coming off a 20-point performance against Texas Tech middle of the week. They are welcoming him back with open arms.
Well, the one thing that he does is he gives them the wing player. And as you touched on a moment ago, Kev, with their front line being very, very big, they need their guards and their wing players not only to shoot the basketball, and I think he's one of the keys for him, but to make sure that he can drive it and challenge people and watch for the shot blocker down deep, number 50 for West Virginia.
So the Longhorns took care of number 8 Texas Tech Wednesday, 67-58. Highest ranked opponent Texas has beaten in 2 years. And they play defense too, holding the Red Raiders to only 38% from the floor. Carter's on top. Here comes Dr. Miles on the move, and he scoops one up. Kanate inside.
Well, Kanate was looking for 2 shot blockers there. He had Sims on one side, not a bad shot blocker, and Bamba behind him.
It's Roach off that baseline, slithers and feeds inside to Jericho Sims, who can't slam it in. And the Mountaineers the other way. Dexter Miles outside, and he'll control on top. That's a long shot, and the 3 will not go in by Lamont West, but picked up by Kanate over Bamba.
So that's what West Virginia's game is, Kevin. Sometimes they'll shoot the basketball just to go offensive rebound. The 3 and 4 guys will challenge. You better hurry to get this ball in bounds right now. Watch, here comes a double team.
I agree, and here comes Osetkowski down court for the freshman Sims. Down the baseline, rejected again. The Kanate is going to pick up the foul, meeting him at the iron. And the second foul called inside on West Virginia. Kanate picks up his first.
Here comes Sims again. He missed that dunk the last trip, but a good challenge. And one of the things that Shaka Smart spoke to us about before the game, we asked him, what happens when you get it past the first part of the trap and get it over half court? And he said he wants them to attack, because if you don't attack, you're just letting West Virginia come back and settle into their defense and be more aggressive in the half-court sets again.
At the free throw line, as they're going to bring in some more help off the bench. Here comes Machi Bender. But they've got Jericho Sims at the free throw line. He is a freshman from Cristo Rey Jesuit High School in Minneapolis. He was a top 60 high school player, and he's only 4 of 10. And now 4 of 11 in Big 12 free throw shooting.
I think that's a good decision, too, getting their big guy, Kanate, out of this game. You do not want to have him change the whole complexion of the game by picking up 2 quick fouls.
Here's Javon Carter outside to Miles. Down low, they go to Wes Harris. Shot clock at 5. And Carter doubled, and Bamba knocked it away and picked up by Roach. And here comes Coleman.
Watch the lob.
Hold on. Bamba from Coleman.
They go up in a hurry. That's what they're looking to do. They don't want to settle into a half-court set the way they're playing. You know, they'd love to just go fast break basketball, especially to set a tone here on the opposing team's floor.
Mountaineers lost to Kansas here on Monday, losing a big lead in the first half and early second half with a foul called inside.
Oh, good effort there, and all of a sudden you see a little hesitation by Coleman. He tries to get the defender Miles to bite, to think he's going to go all the way, and that allowed Bamba the time to just run the floor and get positioned underneath for an easy catch.
Another substitution out there for the Mountaineers. Logan Rout will check in. Miles gets it. West on the side. Harris 3, no. The three-point shooting in the Mountaineers has been struggling. Osetkowski the other way, breaking the press. It's a 3 launch, picked up by Bamba. Doubled and keeps it in there for the Longhorns.
Goes straight up.
And around he goes, off the glass and over Rout for 2.
A little difference when he's down there and the big fella's sitting on the bench. So Bamba very patient. That's one of the things that he's grown. He's gotten better and better as this season has gone on.
Eric Davis has checked in for Texas. Texas has weathered the early storm here. Dexter Miles hits a 16-footer. He's got his first 2 of these 1,000-point score for this West Virginia program.
And that was just a nice little slip cut to the middle of the floor to free. Get to the middle of the floor, make something happen. Whoa, watch out.
It's going to be like this all afternoon.
It sure will be. They are not going to quit. defensively. I thought they pulled back the throttle in the second half against Kansas in their last game, and it showed. Kansas was able to make a good comeback with 9 minutes left in that game when it was pretty close and tied.
Bamba screen. Davis will drive and bang and put it in. That is a foul. Count it. And Davis with 2.
Kevin, that's one of the things that you think that Texas would do. They would try to drive the basketball. And watch what they do here. They try to search out a body first. Body first, shot second, and you go to the line.
It's an early Texas Longhorn 4-point lead. We're just into the game here in Morgantown. 12-6 Oklahoma, 15-3 West Virginia. And how do the Horns approach today against this very good Mountaineer team?
I like the way they've started. They're limiting their turnovers is one of the keys as this game progresses, and they have to keep Bamba on the floor. The other side with West Virginia, they have to keep Konate on the floor. And I think as we've spoken about, we talked a little bit about Roach making shots. I think if the combination of Davis and Roach come up with like 15-ish points or more, then Texas might be in good shape this afternoon.
I guess the one thing, Jim, we shouldn't be surprised about with Texas is with the young team and starting the 3 freshmen, they have been kind of inconsistent, alternating wins and losses. They last 7 games, for instance, from late December on, won at Alabama, lost at number 11 Kansas, won at Iowa State, lost at Baylor, beat number 16 TCU, lost at Oklahoma State, beat Texas Tech on Wednesday. Kind of up and down, but that's what Shaka Smart knew when he got this highly touted freshman class.
He knows there's going to be growing pains, and you look at these numbers here, against ranked opponents, a couple of 3 losses, Duke, Gonzaga, and Kansas, TCU with a win, Texas Tech. I think that's a pretty good resume. If you're going to lose to 3 teams, why not throw those 3 teams at you? But he knows there's going to be growing pains here with this team because of the youth. But also he understands that he doesn't want to have those ups and downs, Kev, that you just talked about during the game as much. Try to control the tempo. Try to control your turnovers.
Wes Harris had picked up the foul. And we saw Davis at the line. Here come the Mountaineers. Miles outside. Missed it all. Bamba is there.
Well, they'll live with that shot. A fall-away shot by Miles. One thing that Texas is willing to give up, I think, is that corner jumper, the 3 from the corner. As you touched on, West Virginia shooting at 33% from the 3-point stripe this season.
Coleman, Osetkowski takes it in and draws the double.
Whoa, where are you going?
He's the transfer from Tulane. He is the veteran guy in that front line. Helps out Bamba, certainly. That time he throws it away. And we go the other way with the Mountaineers. Get the CBS Sports app for inside access to your favorite teams. Watch highlights, get breaking news, scores, and more. Download the CBS Sports app today.
Well, Osetkowski plays the 9 straight games, 35 minutes or more, scoring the basketball too, kept 10 points or more in 15 of 18 games, so clearly they need him on the floor.
Coleman is on Carter. Harris is picked up by Sims. Rout corrals it inside.
They talk a lot about Bamba's shot blocking, but Sims is a pretty good compliment to him. At long, that was why that shot was so badly taken. Sims' defense right now on the ball.
Issa Ahmad has checked in for the Mountaineers. Rout is on top.
Ahmad has given them a good lift in the first 2 games that he's played this year.
Carter outside. He'll feed. Here's Bolden. He's their terrific outside shooter, James Bolden, who's a 45% three-point shooter last year, 40% this year, and he's been fairly consistent with that long-range shot and a violation.
Yeah, so now Shaka Smart's team has to be careful in terms of not allowing this building to take over the tempo of this game. The question becomes what West Virginia does right now in this possession. Changes the tempo a little bit.
West Virginia comes in number 6. They've been ranked for 46 consecutive weeks dating back to last season. Longest streak they've had, in fact, as a program going back to the late 50s when Jerry West was here. On top Rout.
Never heard of that guy.
Then you're the only one.
Exactly.
Here's West. Osetkowski's there.
Watch the length.
Ahmad. Over Sims.
And he recognized the length. That was a little bit of a step away. It's a reverse pivot. You don't pivot into the defender. That's going to possibly be an offensive foul, too, with the push-off.
It is indeed.
So now we've seen 2 different situations, Kev, where the presses work. But when you have the post working and things are working very well, you get a little post-up action here. Watch the reverse pivot. It's a reverse, so it separates you. If you turn and do a normal pivot, you're pivoting chest to chest with the defender.
So 3 consecutive turnovers for the Texas Longhorns. Davis will check out. They have Bolden out there, Roach, Osakowski, Sims, and Bamba is defending the inbound. That's a lot of body to look around for Javon Carter. Carter's on top, the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in the Big 12 in the National College Defensive Player. West over Sims. With a rebound by Bamba, who's from Harlem, New York. Some high school prep play in Pennsylvania. Osakowski back on top to Roach, who adds defense certainly. Usually takes the opponent's best score. Getting him back after missing a couple games and tries to shimmy, and the shot clock here is down to 5. And the collision into Bolden. Wipe it away. Offensive foul, and Kerwin Roach will pick it up for the Longhorns.
It's an interesting call. Going to the basket on the left side. Let's see if he extends that right side or puts the shoulder down. Maybe it was that little shoulder bump right there that they got him on. And I think that's the right call because the shoulder's coming in and the arm followed. Defensively, you can be moving from a position in terms of being in legal guarding position.
Konate comes back in for the Mountaineers. Bolden down low. A lot of size there, and Daxter Miles has it.
Good decision to get that one out of the post with a guy named Bamba standing behind him.
3 over Sims. Bolden knocks in another shot from outside. Whoa! He has made 36 three-point shots off the bench, amongst the best in the conference.
So one of the things that they were willing to give up, and Kansas gave up the last time and last game, was the corner 3. West Virginia ready to shoot it when it was open.
Here's Young. 8-0 run so far by the Mountaineers. Young will drive inside and off. Bamba can't get it. Konate controls it.
Good work on Konate with the defensive rebounding there.
That is off of West Virginia. Texas with 5 turnovers the first 5 minutes. 4 in the last 4 possessions in particular, with an 8-0 run by West Virginia over the last 3.5 minutes. Here's Bolden off the bench with another 3 for the Mountaineers on CBS. Each team is led by 4 so far. The Mountaineers on top, the 6th-ranked team in college basketball. You may have noticed on our open today, we're wearing these lapel pins. As you take a look at the West Virginia team coming out and supporting Andrew Jones. And a ball, a signed basketball, was presented to the Texas team before the game. Andrew Jones is the young player, you may recall, who was diagnosed with leukemia. He was their best guard, their best three-point shooter. He's watching today with his family. So the pin's an honor to him and all that he's going to go through, but the bravery he has shown, the courage he has shown so far.
And Kevin, the way the program in Texas in general, and especially their coach, Shaka Smart, surrounded that young man, put their arms around him. You know, he talks about what the coaching staff and the players have had to do. When you lose 1 or 2 games, that's adversity, right? You think it's a big problem. That was adversity that they'd have to deal with. Our best wishes go out to him and his family. He's been missed by this program, and they just dedicate everything they do to him. They try to keep him involved, which I think is really talks to the Texas community.
He had broken a wrist in December, and through all the medical involvement there, had found out with Coleman on an off-balance shot, puts it up and in. Here is the 29th ranked high school player in the country. His dad played Division III basketball. He's out of Norfolk, Virginia, and he has been a starter and a pleasant surprise. And like I said before, they think the future of the program.
Yeah, because it's a learning curve for him as a freshman, but once again, his coach thinks he's done everything. He's constantly watching films with the coaching staff. It's just a good story.
Konate works on Sims. Konate's a sophomore. Jericho Sims picks it up, heaves it down court. Young will take it up, and down it goes. Young putting it through. His dad, Michael Young, was from Phi Slamma Jamma fame, University of Houston. He's out of Houston, and he plays a lot for the Horns.
Yeah, pretty good team back then that he was a part of, for sure.
That's right.
Texas looking to move and rush.
Ahmad outside. Sims getting a hand on it. And finally corralled once again by Jacob Young. Went to Yates High School.
Once again, Sims a factor defensively just then on the glass, keeping Konate off the offensive glass. This West Virginia team is relentless, sending guys to the basket. Texas actually with Coleman looks fairly comfortable.
Coleman takes it in unabashed, but he is called for the charge.
Now, two we've seen go against Texas on the left side of the floor. You have to just look for the right side of his body. Does he push off? I don't see that one.
He's got two now.
I don't see that one. I think that's a bucket.
Coleman will sit. On the floor, they've got Roach for the Texas Longhorns, and they also bring in Eric Davis. Bolden is in. Carter back in the game. Konate there. Ahmad down low. And Miles. That's the 5 out there for the Mountaineers. And away from the ball, there's a foul on some movement. And Eric Davis will be called for the Longhorns.
One of the things that West Virginia is trying to do here is with their offense, it's been kind of stagnant for Bob Huggins. And talking to him a little bit, he has mentioned that, his team is having trouble just passing the basketball. So they got to get their bodies moving, get some screens set.
Ahmad, who was just activated, he's only played, this is third game of the season. He had some issues and great issues with the NCAAB, so they kept him on the sideline the first semester. He's back and playing in his third game as Carter takes it in on Sims.
Coming off 15 against Kansas.
Shot clock at 1. Bolden again! Another 3! He is a flamethrower here in the first half.
He's wearing 3, but the defensive guy is wearing 3 too young, and he looked over his shoulder and said, "Are you kidding me?"
With a drive inside is Roach. And a foul called on the Mountaineers trying to clog the middle.
So they defend pretty well, and Carter finds a shooter. Well, look defensively. Young right there. Not bad defensively. Puts a hand up and then gives him a look afterwards like, okay, this is about all I can do defensively to stop you from shooting that.
Boy, has he got a stroke this afternoon. A sophomore from Covington, Kentucky. A 3-time All-State selection. Monday on CBS. It's a great night of comedy with Kevin Can Wait. Man with a Plan. Superior Donuts at 9 JKL. That's Monday at 8, 7 Central, only on CBS. And at the line again is Roach. You mentioned the 20 against Texas Tech. He had missed the 2 games with the left hand fracture. 31 starts last season. Pretty important guy, especially with Andrew Jones not playing now. They need him, and they were missing him when he was gone.
And especially in the mid-range game.
Yes.
Kevin, he shoots 65% on his mid-range shots, so he's very active with the basketball. So
good note.
Nice cut. Got to catch it, though.
Ahmad steps out of bounds, losing the ball. Issa Ahmad.
It's just so often we see guys use the offense to their advantage, and one thing that Bob Huggins wants his team to do is he says, look for the first guy after your cut. A lot of guys say, well, the guy who sets the screen will be open, but you have to let it develop. That time they executed perfectly along the baseline. You forget to catch the ball now. A minor thing in this sport. Sorry, I don't want to be picky. I'm getting picky all of a sudden. Nice trap at half court.
9.5 to play in the half here in Morgantown. That is a 3. It's heaved outside. Good-looking shot is up and in. And Young has got his first triple and 5 for the game for the Longhorns.
And he comes down and answers as they go into a 2-3 look Texas right now. Young making pay and a quick recovery out of that double team for Texas.
Razera's out to Dexter Myers. And Bamba is there to collect it for the Longhorns. He's got 5 rebounds already and is one of the top shot blockers in all of college basketball. #1 rebounder in the conference. Ooh, taking one on the chops with a drive. With a good-looking move inside for the Longhorns. Was Coleman. Or make it was Roach. Roach was taking it in.
And here's that double team, Kev, on the left side. And if you get rid of the basketball, even though a bounce pass gets it there, you want to make sure the bounce pass is going to slow that up a little bit because it obviously has to hit the floor and kick up. Make that direct pass, and you're going to get those wide-open shots. And that's exactly what Texas wants to try to do. Attack after they break the double team pressure.
Well, there was some question after winning 15 consecutive games for West Virginia, losing their last 2, and some were questioning, have the Mountaineers lost their edge at all? I think with a guy like Carter at the top in the head of the snake, so to speak, that's not going to happen.
I'd be shocked. I would be shocked. They may not win all the time, but they're going to come and play hard. And their coach has something to do with that, too, in the preparation. 3-hour practices because he does not want to be unprepared for any situation.
Here's Bolden. Shot clock is down to 7. He'll dance on top with Young. The fake and a long 2.
Even though Young left his feet, he defended that pretty well. So they're going a little bit of matchup against one another.
Davis got the rebound. Davis comes the other way. The junior from Saginaw, Michigan. To Sims on that baseline with the drive, and that is another offensive foul.
And that's going to be on Davis. Davis coming through just at the last moment. He kicks the basketball off. He makes the good play, but he doesn't stop his momentum from going through the middle of the lane.
That's his third. He is the second leading Texas scorer in Big 12 play.
And that's a frustrating one, too, when you make a good, solid play, and then you come up and you just run over a defender. I believe it was Kanate who was standing in the middle of the floor.
It's Carter inside.
See Bamba's effect on that one?
Yeah, alters the shot, doesn't it? And then he loses the ball. That's Roach over there. He could not hold on to it. So a timeout. Gone back and forth. Texas is led by 4. West Virginia by 4. It's the 7th Texas turnover right there. But right now the Longhorns on top by 3 on CBS. Well, the numbers reflecting some nice defense by West Virginia. They are number 4 in college basketball in forced turnovers, and it's showing early.
Well, 20 a game just about. They turn you over, and you look at the points off of turnovers. That's what they want to do. They've struggled a little bit in their half court, but this is how they challenge you defensively. They have double teams. They keep working. We talk about just the full court press, which we're going to watch right now. Well, how relentless they are in trying to pick up their man. The guy on the ball is just as important as anybody, and when they have you thinking about the press, that's when you start to go before you catch the basketball. So I go back to that concept. Just catch the ball, relax for a split second, and then make your decision if you're Texas in terms of going after West Virginia's press.
Interesting, Shaka Smart has got a team in college basketball which usually relies on guards, guard-oriented, but his team is more oriented toward the bigs inside.
Yeah, and they focus defensively on Bamba. I mean, they'll try to get him involved with some low screens on the offensive end, but he's the anchor defensively. And I think even with that said about what we just talked about, the press from West Virginia, you look at the score, 20-17. Texas has to be relatively happy, not with all the turnovers, but at least with some of their challenges.
Bolden 3. Deontay tries to get it, but Bamba is right there with that 7'9" arm span to lasso the ball. Roach will take it. Bamba outside, good ball movement, and that is a three-point shot, no good by Young. And
look up, you get a layup.
Carter, Miles, they played a lot of games together, and they get it in. In fact, they played today, Jim, their 244th combined game played, more than any other Power 5 backcourt guys in the country. They have seen a lot of time, a lot of miles together. Daxter Miles and Javon Carter.
And one of their backcourt guys, too, Bolden, you see right there, Kevin. He's limping on the way out.
Yep.
And they got him off the floor pretty quickly. Not sure. Seems like it's some part of the right leg, maybe a groin the way he's walking. And we'll keep you updated on that if we can.
Full court pressure again.
Nice to have a big guy like that to throw it into once in a while.
It's a big target, isn't it?
Be careful against West, though.
West is on him, and Bamba takes it away and almost was able to slam it, and Kanate was there. And this triggers the break the other way.
Not a great decision by Bamba, though, going all the way just then. In his last game out, he had a rim rocker from about 17 feet away.
He's over 6'11". Sims is out there at 6'9". Osetkowski is 6'9". It's as big a front line as you'll see in all of college basketball.
And they're very active, and they help one another out.
Carter will drive. Bamba is there. Oh, and another rejection inside. He's like playing handball in there.
And the thing about him, Kevin, you touched on his length, the arm length. He doesn't really have to elevate and get off the floor that high.
Sims on the run, can't get it. Kanate is there with the rebound. He's got 4.
Yeah, they need Sims to finish that one.
He's tried to, and he's been rejected 2 times going on a dunk. And moments ago, was in the reach of Bamba.
So let's see now. Look at the length. I don't want to compare things, Kevin, but you and I could have jumped higher than that on that one. Now, whether we would have blocked the shot, I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
But he doesn't have to elevate. He's got such good positioning. He understands the timing of when a shot is coming. Just remarkable.
Here is Miles, who went to Dunbar High School in Baltimore and then Notre Dame Prep. 1,000-point score, as we mentioned before, as he hits that. Music's biggest storm. It's on Music's biggest night. James Corden hosting the Grammy Awards live Sunday, January 28th only. CBS. We've got the 6th-ranked team in college basketball, West Virginia, coming off 2 straight losses, including against Kansas here on Monday, as we see the first free throw, now the second free throw going in back-to-back for West Virginia. And the Texas Longhorns at 12-6, a 500 Big 12 record, the best conference in America. And they are gaining strength in a quick foul and backcourt caught on Miles of the Mountaineers.
And that was a good recognition, too, in the backcourt by Roach. For the first time, they backed off without being able to come at you defensively. So it's just one-on-one. Now what you need to do, and that's a hand check, so that's a good call from the officials, take the ball up the court. You know, if a backcourt guy is in this game playing at this level and he can't dribble the ball up one-on-one defensively, you have to take advantage of it when West Virginia retreats a little bit.
West Virginia had a nice lead on Kansas, but the Jayhawks won at 71-66 after losing to Texas Tech in Lubbock on Saturday by 1. So they are coming in a little bit angry, this West Virginia team, with another full house here inside the Coliseum. Roach lining up. This is over Harler. And picked up on the play by Canate. Carter's got some speed, doesn't he?
He really does. He gets to the middle of the floor pretty well, too, on the breaks.
Canate is screening Carter the 3, and Bamba is there collecting another rebound. He's got 8 of them in the first half.
Well, he got off the floor on that one.
Yeah, he did.
He would have out-jumped you and me. He's remarkable. You know, one of the things that's key with him, with his shot blocking, and Canate also, most shot blockers who don't really get it at young ages, they lead with their bodies. These guys keep their bodies away from the shooter, and they're effective blocking shots.
That's a good point. Sims trying to finish again. He's not had success. Canate is right there.
I like the opportunities that Sims is getting, though.
Carter inside. West doubled. Bamba foul.
And Bamba went up and left his feet early on that one. First time this afternoon we've seen him out of position defensively. He was second man in, so he really didn't have to leap as quickly as he did, but he got caught and ends up with the foul.
So here's West at the free throw line in Big 12 conference play, 11 of 12, an 80% free throw shooter otherwise. West Virginia was ranked number 2 12 days ago. The last time they were ranked that high, number 2, was late December 1959. They began the season ranked number 11. Tuesday on CBS. This is the one man you definitely want on your case. Michael Weatherly stars in a new Bull. That's Tuesday after NCIS. Only CBS. The free throw shooting so far this afternoon, 3 of 3 West Virginia and 5 of 9 for the Longhorns.
So let's see what happens here on a made free throw. If they make it, see what type of style they come at. If they put a man on the ball, so now they have a little freedom away from the ball. So this is a time for you to dribble it up one-on-one until you see a double coming.
Febres has come in, another freshman, another fabulous freshman by Shaka Smart.
See, there was a good reaction by Texas, just in understanding what press is coming your way. Now I'm sure Bob Huggins the next time will change it up a little bit.
Harris is on Coleman. Bamba with the screen. Harler goes on the switch. Bamba's inside. And he's got route right there. And it's picked up by Canate. Texas began the game 7 of 11. 0 of 6 since. West the other way for the Mountaineers and approaching 4.5 in the half. Carter against Roach.
Great recovery by Carter just then. Roach with him hip to hip, sitting on it. And finds the middle of the floor. And here comes the double. So it's a different look. You have to recognize the different look and don't get crazy with the basketball.
Coleman trying to take it coast to coast, and the ball was knocked away, and West Virginia will knock it away with 21 seconds on the shot clock. Over there, Bob Huggins coming back from Kansas State. Before that, certainly at Cincinnati, and in his 10 previous seasons, 8 NCAAs. in his 10 years. This is his 11th. He played college basketball here. In fact, he played against Jim Spanarkel in this building.
Ancient history.
Very ancient. Febris, 3. No, yeah, easy there, Chief. Here comes Carter. Terrific senior. West is free to fire from 3. Carter got it. Fade away over Bamba. Fighting inside. Rout controls the ball. Harler free. The West Virginia High School Player of the Year can't get it. With a foul called, Coleman grabbed the ball. And I think Lamont West is the one who is reaching in.
Yep, I believe you're right just then. Carter making the moves. He's the leader on this team at both ends of the floor. Watch how he gets the defender sliding just a little bit. And a drifter away from the hoop.
Back in Morgantown, coming up on the AT&T at the half. Adam and Seth will have first half analysis. Also update for you all the action in college basketball and preview game number 3 of our triple header. Number 14 Arizona and Stanford. The Pac-12's first and second place team all coming up in the AT&T at the half. Moments ago in the Texas huddle, their coach, Shaka Smart.
Hey, rebound with 5 guys. 5 guys doing a great job grabbing the ball.
Good job rebounding, bro. We leave it to one side.
Well, he's got a big team here. He had a very small team at VCU, but good enough to go to the NCAA year after year, even a Final Four back in 2011.
Yeah, to his point in that huddle, 17 to 17 of the rebounds. But one of the things, 6 offensive rebounds for West Virginia. That's why they have, one of the reasons they have 30 shot attempts versus 18 for Texas. So collectively, he's saying to his team, and a few of those guys responded, we all have to be in there by committee rebounding to keep West Virginia off the glass.
Coleman at the line, missing right there. He was 12 of 14 from the free throw line in conference play alone. Here comes Carter. 3 times all Big 12 defense. Only 3 other players have ever said that in the history of this conference. 3.5 to go in the half.
So a 2-3 look by Texas. Yep. Watch along the baselines too, Kevin, for the cuts. There's one.
Lamont is in.
Yeah, but there's also Bamba in there.
Bamba with another block. He has 4 blocks, 8 rebounds. He is amazing. Number 2 shot blocker in college basketball. The freshman at 6'11".
You can execute all you want, but you better remember that he's lurking behind.
Febris to Roach, and Roach to Coleman.
Good fill by Coleman. Pretty good defensive job, too, by West Virginia.
Texas 0-7 over the last 6 minutes. That's a 3, and it's no good. Missing outside Febris. And out of bounds, the Mountaineers will have the ball.
So there's the activity, always pressuring an outside shot. Clearly West Virginia's ball.
At home, this team is 9-1. Their only loss was Monday to KU. That was a game they led by a handful and then built it and then lost it in that second half. Here's Carter. Inside, a shot by Hunter is no good. D'Angelo Hunter is in the game for the first time, and on top to Carter. That's a long 3 over Roach. What a shot!
A couple of things, Kev. They get another offensive rebound. They get more possessions at the offensive end. And look at this now. They come right back at you with the defensive effort.
Harler called a timeout. Harler called the timeout before he was forced out of bounds. All a part of an 11-0 West Virginia run. Doing it with defense, tightening the screws, and then bombs away. Carter from 3 for the Mountaineers. On CBS, JB and company, Kevin Harlan and Jim Spanarkel here in Morgantown. West Virginia has trailed by 4. They lead with their biggest margin of 8. Texas, Jim, with 1 point, 0 of 8 from the floor the last 7 minutes.
Here comes Carter. He knows the importance of this offensive possession. Up 8. They want to make sure they get a good look. Try to bring this to double digits, get close to the half.
Here's Ahmad, who is picked up by Coleman and into Canante, who goes into Mo Bamba. Nice series of fakes. Ahmad will tap it back up and in for the Mountaineers.
Not only the fake, Kevin, but the body bump. That's one way to deal with a big-time shot blocker. Hit him with your body a little bit.
Bamba has been the recipient of this full-court pressure passing by Texas to try to break it, and they've had some success actually every time he's gotten the ball.
Yeah, it has, because their big keeps stepping back. You need to worry about those. If Bamba's dribbling it up, watch for the guards coming from behind with a little flip from behind for a steal.
Roach will dance on Harlow. Coleman will be picked up by this terrific defense of Javon Carter.
Bamba hasn't gotten many touches down low in the offensive half-court sets.
He needs more. Coleman on the fly as that buzzer sounded, got the ball, didn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation. It did not. It did not. The defense there for the Mountaineers.
So we're seeing a little rattling for Shaka Smart's team against the press, and then when they come up and try to get to their half-court sets, is a carryover effect, because the press is one thing, but there's pressure consistently. So they come at you at half court. They continue to play the perimeter very, very good. And you look at that number. Missed the last 9 field goals attempts, did Texas.
His young Texas team playing their second consecutive game against an AP top 10 team. Knocked away. Osakowski with the steal and the drive the other way.
Beautiful footwork to get that steal.
Young inside Bamba. There's the touch you want underneath.
Yeah, Kanate was baited on that one. Drive it at that big guy. Get him to commit. And once he commits, get him off his feet. Then you dish that to your center.
So Bamba's got 6 with 9 rebounds. It's a little fade away by Carter. Ahmad is there. Kanate in on Osakowski.
The offensive glass is really starting to wear Texas down.
Osakowski.
Close to a travel the first
Sure
time.
did.
They got him the second
Yep,
time.
you're right, Jim.
And now if you're West Virginia, you're up 10. And once again, make sure you get the shot you want. You sit on the basketball. You have the last possession.
One of the players not going today for West Virginia is their terrific freshman from Mesa, Arizona, Teddy Allen, who had been scoring well and much talked about when he came to Huggins' program. They're going to make him sit and watch a little bit as he learns the Bob Huggins way.
A learning curve.
Timeout. Unranked teams are having their way against some of the top-ranked teams in college basketball. If you look at the top there, Wichita State lost to SMU earlier in the week, and they're losing to Houston this afternoon.
Yeah, look at Oklahoma on top with Trae Young with a fabulous season so far. A lot of big names on the right side of that ledger there.
You see there at the bottom, 66 wins by unranked teams over ranked teams. What does it tell you?
I think it's going to make for a great selection Sunday show for openers to see how this all, filters through, if you will. And let's just see what the West Virginia team can do here. This is where it's nice to have Carter on the floor. They tried to go backdoor. It's a kick, but that'll stay with the clock the way it is.
10-point West Virginia lead. We've had 4 ties and 6 lead changes. Back and forth we go. And Bob Huggins, who's right from here in Morgantown.
I'd like to see what they do with this possession. I would kind of hold it until about 7 seconds. And because you're such a good offensive rebounding team, 5 seconds left. It gives you 3 seconds to get an offensive rebound. That's what he's doing. He's backing it out.
Carter against Roach. Step back. Kanate, Bamba there. 1 to fire. No. Kowski gets it. The only thing that fired was that musket.
Almost knocked me off my chair.
15-2 West Virginia run over the last 7.5 minutes. The 6th-ranked West Virginia Mountaineers against a rugged Texas team from the Big 12. It's West Virginia by 10. Let's go to Adam Zucker in our CBS studios.
I'm Adam Zucker in New York. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Seth Davis joins me for first half analysis, and we'll get you caught up on other top 10 action, including a surprising upset after this.
The Monongahela, where Jimmy Spanarkel was swimming this morning to get his...
It was warmer than the pool in the hotel.
The Ford first half stats, as you can see right here. And of all the numbers you see and, the difference in offensive rebound, the number of shots taken, it's incredible. 18 more shots West Virginia has taken than Texas. What stands out to you? What's your first half headline?
The first thing that stands out to me is a simple thing, that Texas only has 3 assists in the first half. And what that indicates to me is they're having trouble not only advancing the ball, but also when they get into their half-court sets to keep it alive, keep it passing, keep it moving. The clampdown has been pretty good when it comes to West Virginia. And you just look at them right now. They're always aware as you look at 9 forced turnovers for 13 points. And then all of a sudden you start to rattle a little bit. When you're going up the floor, you're expecting it. And Bamba, defensively, he's terrific. He has 4 blocks, but I'm sure they're going to try to get him some early touches down low on the blocks against West Virginia.
So Texas led it 2017, starting 7 of 11 from the floor, Jim. Then they went 1 of 10 for the last 9:22, outscored 15-2 by West Virginia. West Virginia has 18 more shot attempts than Texas. We talked about that. Their offensive rebounding +8. Second chance points +10. They're getting easy points. They're getting it inside. They're forcing turnovers. It's been so far exactly, I'm sure, the way Bob Huggins had drawn it up.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's West Virginia basketball with Bob Huggins now. Kevin, one of the keys, and he commented on this also, is the fact against Kansas, they did the same thing against Kansas their last time out. In the second half, for whatever reason, it looks like they pulled back the intensity on their man-to-man defense. That's why Carter is right up to start things off up front to set a tone.
Roach is out there. Coleman is down on the wing. Here is Sims, knocked off balance and puts it up and in. He took a good shot there from West, who picks up the foul, and Sims for 2.
Look at the post-up action, though. He gets his body in a good catching position. He had, as you touched on in the first half, Kevin, he had 2 or 3 opportunities down low. That might have been his most difficult one. He tosses it up and it goes in. It's good to see him get a little bit of a break after going 0 for 3 in the first half.
From Minneapolis, the youngest of 6 boys. One of his brothers, played college basketball at Northern Iowa. One played college basketball at Kansas State. One played football at the University of Minnesota. That's a pretty good family.
Yeah.
How much tuition?
Yeah, a lot of tuition and a tough table to grab for the meat. You're getting a lot of bread at that table. I know that from a family of 6 myself.
I know you do. I know you do. Inside a shove on the Longhorns. With less than 30 seconds gone, Osakowski will pick up that foul. 31% shooting for West Virginia in the first half. +6 on points off turnovers. I mean, every category, really, especially in the easy points category, is there for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, they dominated for about 10 minutes. About 10 minutes it was fairly competitive.
Good shot outside, Carter.
Carter shoots it at 40% from the 3, Kev, but the key thing is he's willing to take important shots. I know we just started as they have trouble once again getting it in. Look at this strong double team. Nice work just then, too, by Coleman. To get to the open. Yeah, to get to the middle of the floor. Pulled that right foot up. Yep.
Moments ago, the 3 by Javon Carter, the senior from Maywood, Illinois.
Little screen, you go behind it, and Bamba's right there in his face, and you have to go over that long wingspan. Beautiful shot by Carter.
Carter, by the way, who's just outside the lane and with the ball now, is the #1 player in college basketball in steals. Has more than any other player, 62. Plus today, he has got 1, and inside with the shot, they're going to count to 2. On the play, Osakowski is going to be called and give the 2 to Kanate.
I think the ball was still sitting up there. First look.
Yep, in the cylinder.
Yep.
In that cylinder. There are a lot of cylinders now in the game.
Texas has to be careful here that the West Virginia doesn't go on one of their 12-2 runs. Trying to throw a haymaker at them early in the second half here in the first few minutes.
West Virginia, #6 in college basketball, coming in 15-3, losing 2 straight. And the foul as Osakowski forces the issue inside.
It looks like Carter on the side there as he drove to the basket. And that's one of the things you have to be aware of. Kanate blocking shots, but they had some success in the first half, Texas, that driving the basketball and looking for body contact.
Osakowski leads them in scoring in Big 12 play. A senior from San Diego, the junior from San Diego. Wednesday on CBS, teams who are the best in their field are racing around the world. Cheer for favorites on a new amazing race. Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, only CBS. Kevin Harlan, Jim Spinarkle here in Morgantown, West Virginia. 4-2 in the conference, West Virginia. 3-3 conference record for Texas. The #1 rated conference in college basketball, the Big 12. 10 teams, 7 may go to the tournament.
Yeah, a little stagger cut to free him. Nice work. Oh, wow, that was Miles getting his hands on the basketball against one of his own teammates.
Harris. Athletic move, only coming off a 3-point game the other night against Kansas. Shoving that one through. It's Coleman on top. Defense by Miles.
A little indecision here. Nice
big screen by Bamba. Knocked away by Canate.
So they get the high screen that they want and the challenge to the basket. Watch, the screen is going to be over here and the pickup. Canate goes after it, and look at the way he separates his body. He keeps it away and gets it with the two hands. Against Kansas, he picked 2 of them off with 2 of his hands with challenges to the basket. I'm going to hurry to get this in again.
Ahmad is in. Here is a long shot. Roach can't get it. Good rebound. Bamba puts it up. Only his 10th shot of the game, but he continues to score. And now Bamba.
And he went quickly with that one, too. Catch and go off the rebound.
Good for him. Osikowski almost had a steal, and Ahmad gets it back. Here comes Carter. Good shift, good drive, good feed. Oh, nice pump fake right there by Wes Harris.
That's pretty basketball, too, isn't it? All by the outside drive to the basket, setting it up. And then you kick. You bring defenders from the perimeter all the way into the middle of the floor, and then you kick it out. Set up your guy for an easy stroke.
Mountaineers have lost 2 straight after winning 15 consecutive games. That 15-game winning streak was the longest in college basketball. Losing a week ago today at Texas Tech, and losing to KU in a drive inside, and ball knocked away and off the fingertips of the driving Coleman. 10 on the shot clock, and that's a turnover. It's maybe the West Virginia touched it. No, it's going to be a turnover on Texas.
Well, the freshman jitters, too, when you're trying. He's been playing so well, and Shaka Smart spoke about that before the game. The growing pains, he's been working out, he's been understanding it, but he's having some difficulty his last 2 possessions.
Carter 3.
Look at them go after it, though.
Coleman pulls it away.
Well, it could have been a tie-up just then with Carter. And they go right into a missed shot. They go right into their pressing double teaming.
Osikowski got it off to the driving Roach, and a foul as he takes it inside. So a couple times they brought it underneath, and a couple times the foul's been called on the Mountaineers. This is going to be the 3rd on Miles.
You see 50, Canate right in front of us underneath the basket. So he parked himself a little bit too far out. Roach was able to continue to go to the basket with his man just then. They're going to make their free throws, too. Whenever they get to the line, they must start knocking down their free throws. They're 65% on the season, and they are dead last in the conference at shooting free throws.
Roach at the line. And a couple new players coming in. Bolden come back and now for the Mountaineers. We thought he might be gone. Miles will take a seat. Bolden was hitting those 3-point shots early in the game.
Little groin issue for him.
Yes. Texas has an RPI of 45. Matchup of elite defensive teams.
Watch
and
out,
2 of the nation's best shot blockers. Oh, you saved it. Or you saved it. Somebody got a hand on it. Here comes Davis off that baseline. Puts in the mid-ranger.
Texas throwing a little bit of the press. The West Virginia press at West Virginia with the double team.
There's a Sims knock away.
You got to get it across in a hurry. Just beat it by a second.
Ahmad.
Oh, big hand.
Bamba was in there, knocked it away, deflected the ball. Do teams that press like to be pressed?
Well, what happens is they generally practice it so much in practice that they should be used to it. I think the change caught them by surprise just then, quite candidly. Nice move there by Shaka Smart and Texas.
Look at Spinarco.
Look at the big guy coming at us.
Oh. Welcome back to Morgantown. Let's take a look at the AT&T Fast Analysis.
Kevin, we talk about putting the pressure on a team with the dribble. Now watch Carter go through the lane. And keep an eye on this look here and these 3 guys here. They're all focusing at him and also looking for him to do something. Well, now he kicks it out. A little ball fake, 1-step dribble, perfectly executed in terms of the drive and kick out. But boy, does Carter bring on that play in particular a lot of attention to him. I guarantee you that's one set that Bob Huggins is going to show on the video after this game to his team.
Now, Jim, it was a 13-point lead by West Virginia. It is down to a single-digit deficit for Texas. 2 straight games for Huggins and the Mountaineers. They have not been able to hold on to a double-digit lead in the second half. I'm sure some of this has got to weigh in their mind. Now, obviously, you're taking on a Texas team on the climb. They were taking on 2 ranked teams before.
Yeah, especially a Kansas team that Bill Self has figured out how to get his team. Last year, they were question marks as to whether they would win the conference championship. And about 2 weeks ago, people almost had them written off. And now, all of a sudden, you look at the standings, they're right back on top again.
West Virginia swept the Longhorns a season ago, winning all 3 games there and here and in Kansas City at the tournament.
Looking for Sims down on the blocks.
Nice drive by Roach. Can't make it go. Knifing inside, picked up by Ahmad out to Carter. They race the other way. Carter shoots a lot, but not as much today. It's Ahmad now. And open. Hits. Rebound. Mamba.
He's just climbing the boards constantly. Here's the challenge.
Roach,
watch out.
Canate knocked it away, and Bamba tried to go in there and grab it in, but Roach had it knocked. We got 2 elite shot blockers going head-to-head.
And when I said the challenge was coming, here comes the challenge defensively. Very rarely do you see, Kevin, a guy go up with 2 hands and get both of them. He's such a great jumper when he goes off 2 feet. A lot of guys like to go off 1. This is against Kansas where he set the tone. Boy, it's just fabulous the way he goes up and keeps the body separated at the same time.
Well, Bamba's up there. This freshman group that Shaka Smart has, we told you, number 5 recruiting class, all 5 among the top 80. Bamba was number 2 in the class, the 4th signee in UT history ever among the top 2. They include Avery Bradley, Kevin Durant, and Miles Turner. Other guys that highly rated when they were coming out of high school.
Not too shabby.
No, that's a pretty good group.
They had a kid named Jared Allen last year. The Brooklyn Nets, who was learning and blocking a lot of shots.
There's some defense again by Texas and a quick foul. Now Sims was reaching in, and Sims has picked it up as Harris is trying to wiggle free. Sims will pick up his first for the Texas Longhorns.
Shaka Smart continues to just wave at his guys to go up and play defense. And keeping in mind now, quick entry pass. Keeping it away from Carter as much as they can. And he gets it back because he was on the 5.
Holding on here. Timed beautifully. Wesley Harris got the feed from Javon Carter.
Well, when you have an experienced guy in your backcourt, can pay big dividends. They break the press, and he knows exactly what to do with it with that 2-on-1 lob.
Coleman gets it off. Derek Davis got in some really foul trouble this afternoon. They switch on defense. They got Ahmad now, and a step-back shot here by Davis. Rebound pulled down by Harris.
I still think they have to continue to go towards the glass, get to the middle of the floor, maybe post up Bamba once or twice.
Bob Huggins was talking before the game about the 2 consecutive losses, saying we're standing around too much. We're watching Carter shoot too much. And Carter lofted over 35 shots in the 2 games combined. And today he has not taken as many shots, and thus the result is better.
Yeah, and the leadership skills coming and the passing of the basketball.
Bolden back in, sore groin, rebound by Bamba. He's got 13 rebounds. He averages 12 in the conference. Roach off balance, lets it fly, and picked up by Bolden. Ahead it goes. Here comes Harris with trailers. Knocked away beautifully by Coleman.
Yeah, see that bounce pass at half court? Watch how slowly that got to him. Not just slow to fast breakdown.
And messed up his rhythm.
Yeah, watch that. You see now it's taken an extra second, and that gives Coleman time to get back. I'd like to see that snap pass or a little bit of a mini lob pass to him and let him run underneath
like a quarterback throwing him back of a receiver.
Exactly.
Yeah, slows him down. Ozakowski will check back in for the Longhorns. Davis is out there. Sims remains. Young is in the game. And they've got Coleman. That's the 5 out there. Bamba's going to take a breather. I always think for a big man, he's got to run up and down the floor. And then he takes all the pounding inside. You got to have a lot of endurance to play in that position.
They like to play him his minutes, too. They have to.
Carter will dance and drive and spin and gets fouled by Sims. Reaching in, Jericho Sims will pick up his 2nd personal foul for Texas.
Only the third team foul on Texas. They just can't get untracked offensively. The clamp down, 33 points to this point with 13 and a half minutes to go.
Chase Harler has come in, a sophomore from Moundsville, West Virginia.
Two-man action out front. Looking for a switch.
Shot clock at 5. He puts it up. Bullseye.
Can't knock the defensive effort by Davis again. Carter just has a knack for being able to pull his body and his shoulders away from the defender, which gives him just a split amount of time to get his shot off.
West Virginia has won at least 25 games, 3 consecutive years.
Holmes has got to blast it up. There you go.
And they come in today 15-3. And driving is Coleman with a fadeaway. Rebound by Harris.
That's the effect, Kevin, of Kanate in the back. He saw him. He knew he was there. He knew he couldn't go all the way to the glass.
What a roadblock. There's a knock away and picked up by Sims.
Nice pass.
Over to Coleman. Davis on the side. Coleman takes it up. Picked up by Young. Outside Davis. 3. No. Bodies on the floor. Ball bounces out of bounds. It's against Texas. Bamba's going to come back in the game. Ahmed Bamba, top 2 high school player nationally. Parents from the Ivory Coast. His parents met in New York. Bamba grew up in Harlem. Went to a prep school in Westtown, Pennsylvania. Good hustle there by Roach. Hold on here for Osakowski. Nice pass by Roach. And just like that, we're back to a 10-point game with Harris at the other end.
That lazy bounce pass will get you every time against a trap.
Can't do it.
No, you just can't. It slows the ball down too much. We've seen it 3 times already this afternoon.
Longhorns come in. They've won 2 of 3 and 6 of 9. After an 11-win season last year, Shaka Smart has done wonders. The program is right with great momentum. The players seeing themselves in a tough one today with the shot clock at 5. Double team Carter. And picked up by Ahmad. Outside Harley. Blocked by Osakowski. And the defense there is something that Shaka Smart is applauding. That's exactly what he wants to see.
Yeah, the one thing they probably didn't want to see was the block and the shot clock go off, because they had a layup down the other end as they go upstairs with the alley-oop. And then Texas finishing it off, going upstairs. Bang.
So we've been talking all afternoon about the Big 12, and you can see what the ratings say. RPI, the ranking teams, they've got 5 teams, Jim, in the top 25, including 2 in the top 10.
And look at their out-of-conference record, which is a pretty good indicator. When, early in the year, a lot of times there are, cupcakes on the schedule. But nowadays in college basketball, you play some pretty good games early on. These 2 coaches know that as you move along, more so on the Texas side. Getting some wins, Kevin, against a team like Texas Tech or West Virginia is just going to help. And maybe, just maybe, you can be 500 or less in conference play in this league and still make the NCAA tournament.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Osakowski can't get the first. He goes in there as he digs it out with Ahmad, and they call a tie-up. That's an interesting comment you just say. He's watching tie-up again. You say you could have a below 500 record in that conference and still have a pretty good shot at the tournament.
I think you'll get some attention.
Yeah, get some attention.
If you get some wins against the right teams.
And that's all that matters as the quick inbound was coming in and a timeout was taken by West Virginia. We will step aside as well with a big hello to Sam White, a former CBS announcer watching in Pickens, South Carolina. Timeout. CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reach for Reese's. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Verizon, the most awarded network ever. Texas coach Shaka Smart brings the lowest scoring team in the Big 12 in here to face the #1 defensive team in the conference in West Virginia. Moments ago in his huddle.
It makes us aggressive. We've got to apply that to everything we do. Look, down here, you can't get 10 points in one shot. Be composed. If you got a good shot, great. Otherwise, pass.
How daunting is it? They bring in 3 freshman starters. They've not scored a lot of points, but they've got 12 wins and an ascending team and one to watch the remainder of the season into a tough place like this against an angry Bob Huggins in West Virginia. They've lost 2 straight after winning 15 in a row.
And Kevin, part of that message, I think, without saying it, is that if my guys are a little rattled by this, I'm not going to say, hey, you guys are rattled by this. He's just saying the flip side of that. Be aggressive. Go after them. Almost to intimate that if you make a mistake, big deal, but do it aggressively. And I think he's absolutely right with that.
I think he's seen pretty good energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is a violation. How about that? That's exactly what Shaka Smart was looking for from his team and not what Bob Huggins wanted to see.
So that's why Carter comes back in for Bob Huggins in a hurry.
Miles and Carter are in there. Bolden remains, so very small in the backcourt. Up front, they've got Harris and Kanate. So 3 guards and 2 forwards. Bamba and Osakowski, who gets it right now in that big front line.
They're trying to get it to Bamba.
Osakowski just muscling up a shot and gets it to drop.
You know what, Kev? He stopped his move to the basket because Carter was sitting waiting for a charge. Terrific play to really regroup and be under control and be patient. Right, so they get a good answer to get it under 10 points. And now Texas needs to get a stop.
On top, Kanate.
Good ball action here, and screens and movement without the basketball.
Miles. He's picked up by Davis defensively. A lot of standing around. The ball is sticking. Miles on the fly and gets it to go.
Boy, is that ever a tough shot. Well, he's a guy who, as you touched on earlier in the day, scored over 1,000 points. And that was a dandy making that switch. So I think that play was well defended.
Texas against teams in the AP top 25 this season, 2-3. They had won 2 straight games against ranked opponents. Outside, Osakowski with a 3. Rebound by Kanate. He was the former Pennsylvania High School Player of the Year. Bolden got things started for West Virginia with some 3s, kind of unleashed their offense early on.
Good to see him back. He's trying to cut with Carter and keep the offense moving. Once again, not getting a whole lot out of the first portion of the clock.
Kanate has it. Bamba is there. Did not matter. Good fake inside.
Another good fake, and it got Bamba to react to it again, and that's why he didn't get the chance at blocking that shot just then. Nice to have a big guy if he can handle the basketball, but you got to watch for a jump switch, and here it is.
One thing about this West Virginia defense, nationally forcing turnovers on 26% of opponents' possessions. That means that's number 2 in college basketball, but think of that, a quarter of your possessions forcing a turnover. That's unheard of. Bamba with a 3 and a good rebound by Kanate.
And on what, about, I would guess 10 or 15% of it, they rattle you.
Right.
You know, so what's left?
Exactly. Not much. There's not a lot of wiggle room, is there, huh? Especially playing here.
You know, that's the thing. Here, if they get the fans involved, it's been a little quiet, I think, over the last 2 or 3, 4 minutes, because it's kind of been like a grind-out type of game.
Eric Davis just picked up a foul. And for Davis, Texas, it is his 4th. He will leave, and Roach will leave. They bring back in Sims. Coleman is back in there at the point.
West Virginia holds opponents to 65 points per game.
That's a long shot. That is a long shot by Carter. 7-0 West Virginia run since Texas cut it to 8, and the Mountaineers with their biggest lead.
He's being very selective with his shots, and he knows when to go and when they need a punch in the arm.
Timeout taken. Shaka Smart sensing this could be slipping away with 9 to play. An intense West Virginia team. Top 10 most of the year. Long shot right there by Javon Carter. For a very interesting selection Sunday.
Yeah, I think it's going to make some of the power names think twice a little bit about how easy things are, but for the most part, I'm sure that most of those will crop up to the top in the top 10 by the end of the season, but it's going to be a lot of fun getting to that point this year.
It's Roach outside, Coleman with a long shot. Rebound, Sims climbed on the back of Ahmad and picks up the foul for Texas.
You saw Sims' one-handed rebound that time. The reason he got that rebound is the other hand was using that as a push-off hand and to hold the other opponent away.
A little full court themselves.
Carter's going to back it out sometimes. He's just, look at his vision is very, very good. And it does help to have another guy who's a senior in Miles.
That's a three. And that's authored by Bolden.
Well, he's their third release guard in the play, and he shoots it at 40%. So Carter initiates. He gets it over to Miles. They got the three guards out there. Very difficult to press three guards. And that's what Shaka Smart was thinking about, going with three guards against the press against West Virginia.
Here's a drive by Coleman. Lets it fly off that baseline. It's picked up by Rout. Off to Daxter Miles.
Good decision by Miles to hold on to the ball and not push it ahead. Total control right now.
Bolden with the ball as a sophomore. He had a career high coming off the bench against Texas A&M to open up the season. It was a 19-point performance there. Shot clock is down to 7. Here comes Carter, defended by Coleman. Crossover, drive up, knocked away, and a foul. A lot going on in that play. And Carter trying to wiggle his way free.
They're keeping the ball hopping right now. That's one of the things that Bob Huggins wanted this team to do. When they pass it, they can shoot it better.
Well, the 18-point lead right now for West Virginia is their biggest, and they're getting it from all quadrants, and they're leading in every statistical category, plus 18, Jim, in three-point shooting.
Yeah, this second half has been designed the way and played the way Bob Huggins likes his team to play. Be very aggressive, but the real key thing today was, Kevin, that congratulations are in order for you. Named the 2017 National Sportscaster of the Year by the National Sports Media Association. Congratulations, my friend. Well deserved.
Well, when one is recognized, everybody should be recognized. Guys like you and Raph and all of our...
Well, thank you, but congratulations. That's the type of guy you are, but thank you.
Thanks to CBS for keeping me on board.
Pretty good company you're with there, huh? Past winners, Jim Nance, Pat Summerall, John Madden, and the late Dick Enberg.
I heard from Jim this week, and it meant a lot. I mean, those are all names that we all look up to, and we've all worked with, and what a great honor.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You're nice to say that. You're nice to say that. That caught me by surprise. Thank you.
Well, you brought it up in the production meeting.
What production meeting? Thank you.
You bet.
10-0 West Virginia run as Vamba got the ball. There was a shove by Carter, who was in there trying to gain position. And then also Bolden was back there too, applying pressure, and Bolden has picked it up. Good. So Bolden gets his first.
And no shooting yet for Texas, only the 15th foul for West Virginia.
I mean, Texas knew this was going to be a tough place to come with the team losing 2 straight after 15 straight wins, which West Virginia had done. And playing themselves just a couple nights ago and beating a ranked team. And Miles has the ball.
And you're 20 points up if you're West Virginia. 7.5 minutes left. Do you think Bob Huggins is going to pull that press off? Absolutely not. They get another turnover.
Carter driving. Miles three. Bullseye! Miles gets it to go.
Yeah, what you need two guards to do, and they're doing it well, and add Bolden to the mix. They're playing off one another, Kevin. They're understanding where the openings are. They're filling spots on the floor to help their teammates to an easier receiver. They got it cooking going right now as they come back defensively again with a little bit of a 1-2-2 zone. 1-3-1 zone now it's switched to.
Quality Texas team. Bob Huggins has got to love the way his team has responded after the 2 losses. With a drive inside off balance, Coleman. In fact, about every shot Coleman makes and takes is off balance.
Yeah, and he has to do that because he understands that there are shot blockers in there, and they've had trouble with that. There's a grab out front by Coleman.
Great spacing, and with this three-pointer moments ago by Daxter Miles out of Baltimore, as senior.
And just watch the drive. There's Carter again. Now watch, this is the big fill. He comes across to make himself a better target. He could have gone to the corner, but the defender is closer to the corner, and he could go out and try to defend him easier. They worked on that in practice yesterday, spacing of the floor, challenging one another to set better screens, and kicking the basketball as quickly as they can.
Here is 3-year starter Isa Ahmad, who is at the free throw line. You know, I was just taking a look at Carter and thinking there are probably few guards who reflect the feel and the temperament of their coach the way that Carter and Huggins are connected. I mean, I can't believe Huggins would have. He's a defensive-minded point guard who can score, but has a toughness, and that's all what Bob Huggins is looking for with his guards.
Yeah, toughness / intensity, and the understanding of when he I think one of the best parts of Carter is when he needs to pass it, he knows when to pass it. When he needs to step up and score, he knows when to take extra shots.
6.5 to go.
Switches out front.
Ozikowski. And it's Roach with a 3. Pretty shot. Good ball movement.
Absolutely. Good spread, too. 1 or 2 dribbles to the middle for Texas that time. But now they start to foul. Roach picks up another one. Bolden will go to the line.
Pretty amazing that Kerwin Roach had a fractured left hand, only missed 2 games, and is now back. He's huge. He had a wrap around that in the first half, and it's gone now, I see here in the second.
Yeah, and what helps you there, Kevin, from being a righty, if it was a strong hand, then you have a different set of circumstances.
Right, yeah.
But the right hand, the left hand for a right-handed shooter, we can even watch it on a free throw shot right here. The offhand, in this case it'll be the left hand of the shooter, is he's shooting, but the right hand is more of it. It's a two-handed shot, but it's a guide hand, if you will. At the very end of it, the right hand, in this case, of him shooting it, will release from the basketball, but you have to guide it. And with Roach, just the opposite. He's shooting with his right hand. The left hand is his guide hand, and that's the one that he fractured. So it's a little easier to fight through that injury.
You know what the most famous hand in America right now is that of Tom Brady.
There you go.
And I'm wondering, it's not necessarily him gripping and throwing the ball, which will be challenging, but it's getting the snap on the play, handing off.
Right, just total control.
Yes,
right.
All the ball handling he's got to do. That will be a story tomorrow on CBS.
There you go.
Young is back in.
I still think he may be able to handle it.
He might be able to. Yeah. Something tells me he'll be okay.
I don't know. I wouldn't lose too much sleep if it was Brady.
Couple intriguing games, though, tomorrow on the NFL. And, of course, that AFC game right here on CBS. Mid-afternoon tomorrow, coming out with it and kicking it out. Young finally ends up with it. Assad on him, and they go inside. And Sims trying to slam. Konate was there. And West Virginia seems to be doing everything right.
Sims is a flat-out leaper, and there's the two-handed challenge again by Konate. You don't see it that often. He's a quick jumper. And there may have been some contact on the hands there, too. Hard to see it happen so quickly.
Konate's got 5 blocks. Konate was not a starter a year ago. He is a sophomore from Mali, but he had 1 start a season ago. That's it. He only averaged 4 points and 3 rebounds and averaged 10 minutes a game for Bob Huggins.
And this year he's jumped it up to 9 points and 8 rebounds per game. So a double in a short period of time.
And a lot of minutes.
Yeah, and his shot blocking has just been crazy. Last year he blocked 53. Now he's got 57.
Well, Ahmad was going in, and that is a goaltend. It'll be charged on Bamba. Biggest lead right now for West Virginia. Speaking of blocks, let's go back in the vault as Bob Huggins was 1977 in this building. Against a young and sprightly Jim Spanarkel. And a steal and a scoop and a score. Bolden does it all inside. Hitting threes, making steals, and finding the result.
It is just working on all cylinders for West Virginia.
Is exactly what they needed after their 2 disappointing losses. 1 on the road, 1 at home on Monday. A whole week of practice with an angry Bob Huggins. That's not a way to spend a week.
And they practice long. They go 3 hours at clips.
Bamba. Outside, Young, 3, shoots like his dad. Doesn't he, a little bit? You can see the resemblance, can't you? Michael Young, who played, as mentioned, back in the first half at the University of Houston. Elijah Wan and Phi Slamajama and Guy Lewis.
You know, the one thing you failed to mention about Huggins and myself in that picture, where we combined for 6 inches of vertical leap.
Good looking throw up there by Javon Carter. He's got 20 points. He averages 17. He's hit 4 threes, and that brings them to their feet in Morgantown. A big-time performance by a top 10 team.
Take me home to the place I belong.
West Virginia's pulling on top of the 6th-ranked team in the country. They may dip a little bit with their 2 straight losses, but a good win against a quality opponent here today. Texas, Jim Spanarkel got as close as 8 points, 45-37. Since that time, West Virginia going on a 26-5 run, and Bob Huggins has got to like exactly what he's seen on both ends of the floor from his team.
I think there are a couple of things. I think the offense has opened up. You saw those numbers, 14 of 18 from the floor. Made their last 9 field goal attempts, but flip to the other side, the 42 points that Texas has. Well, that's really, really good defense. 65 points on average.
Young to Sims and knocked away by Canate.
The way West Virginia clamps down on you, Texas has been untracked. And watch Canate go up. Yeah, that's clearly against the hands. So that's a good call. Sims has had his work cut out for him, hasn't he? He's been trying to challenge him, though.
Sims. Well, Wednesday at 9 Eastern on CBS Sports Network. We'll be watching this one. 12th-ranked Cincinnati looking to stay hot and avoid the upset when they host Temple. That's on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, CBS Sports Network.
He's a 39% free throw shooter. Doesn't look like it when he's shooting.
You're right. Pretty good stroke. There's an interception. And a little travel there was picked up by newly instated Royce Ham. He was a top 100 recruit, a freshman from Houston, Texas, who has not seen a lot of time. You get the sense that Shaka Smart has established the culture that he has wanted to. When you have a top 5 recruiting class, another one brewing right now, drive inside, good-looking dive by Javon Carter. Now with the game high 22. You sense that Texas has really got the momentum they want as Young forces it and puts it up and through.
Yeah, he's definitely has them turning the corner. And I think, when you listen to him, a bright young guy, really understands the value of getting guys to buy into his culture, too. It's one thing to set a culture and have the expectations and have guys to buy into it. And I think he's done a terrific job with this young team so far this year.
Davis picked up his 5th personal foul.
And they just happened to get a team that didn't he use the word that they might be angry coming in today, West Virginia, after their last 2 losses?
No doubt.
Not a terrific time to be coming in here to try to go up against Bob Huggins' team that executed very, very well and flawlessly in the second half.
Bob Huggins, 3rd winningest active head coach, back of Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Boeheim at Syracuse. Before here, he was at Kansas State for a year. More than Cincinnati as he watches his guard Miles, senior, put up and in his first free throw. Perfect free throw shooting this afternoon for West Virginia. 11 of 11 from the free throw line.
They're number 2 in the conference. If you're going to play their style and you're going to force the action and go to the line a lot, helps to be shooting at 75% versus Texas that averages 65%.
Back-to-back single-digit season losses for West Virginia. Last time that happened in the program's history is back in 82-83. So they have got certainly a nationally ranked program right here. Last 2 seasons, they finished 2nd in the Big 12 regular season and the Big 12 postseason, and back at Kansas. Sweet 16 a season ago. Great rejection. Lead pass. Here comes Miles. Canate cleans it up. They come at you in waves.
And Canate started that play defensively too, Kevin. And where does he end up? He ends up running the floor, not just sitting back and watching it.
They get that 3-pointer to fall from outside. Febres, another freshman, who was starting when Roach was out and injured. Here's the drive. And Ahmad was the one taking it in. And here's a 3-year starter who didn't even play the first half of the season when they compiled that big record of 15-1. They lost the very first game of the season, won 15 straight, have lost 2 in a row.
Upstairs.
Miles couldn't get it. Canate, by the way, this afternoon, a wonderful stat line of 10 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 blocked shots. Young in the paint with a dive and a foul.
So that puts Canante with 5 blocks against Kansas in the last game. He's stacking them up.
He had those 5 blocks like in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Watching it.
It was amazing to watch.
It's one of the best shot blocking shows I've seen in a long time.
It was devastatingly good at the free throw line. Is Young on the other end. One of the top shot blockers is Mo Bamba, who sits over on that bench of Texas right now. And I thought it was interesting when Shaka was talking to us before the game. He said he probably, in fact, no, he is the best player I have ever coached. I thought it was a big statement.
And he said it with some force, too. It wasn't I think he is. He said he is.
Carter pushes and finds. Canate now having his way inside and finally pulled down by Ham.
I can't believe that he missed that follow-up.
So the Big 12, Iowa State had a win today. West Virginia, Texas Tech dropped that game. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State are in overtime. West Virginia is going to go to 5-2 and 16-3. And then there's Kansas. And we began the broadcast talking about their 13 consecutive conference championships, which to me remains about as unbelievable a sentence as you can say in any sports at any time, now or in the past. And that's an amazing number. But the conference overall has strengthened themselves. And Kansas probably faces about as much now as they have at any time in the conference.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see this year, and then as it builds.
That kid has got the stroke.
Yeah, when you combine his stroke with 2 senior guards in the backcourt, when they go small and spread the floor, that really, really helps. And you have a guy like Bolden who shoots it at 40% from the three-point line, and 2 guards who know how to get it to him.
Bolden's got 5 threes this afternoon. And his early threes kind of opened up the game a little bit offensively for West Virginia. Canate comes up with the ball. Carter's played in 126 college basketball games. That is number 2 among all active players right now in the college ranks.
Bob Huggins is trying to get some new players out on the floor.
And rightly so. They've had a tough week of practice, and they've responded well against the quality Texas Longhorns, who I think will continue to make some good headlines the rest of the way. But today belonged to Huggins, the Gold Rush uniforms, which they wear, and they had a great crowd again here in the Coliseum.
And I thought, Bob Huggins thought, Texas coming in was going to be a challenge, too. And they were prepared very well for them with a long couple of practices, and trying to get their offense untracked, which they did, scoring 80 points. That's just about what they average, 81 for the season.
Third game of our triple headers coming up. That's number 14, Arizona at Stanford. The second to fire. Carter misses right there. The top 2 teams in the conference in the Pac-12.
All right, Adam Zucker in New York. We'll keep you posted on the score in Morgantown, and you can see the finish of this one on CBSSports.com. But for those of you expecting